Hello. My name is Savannah. I am a skills coach and mental health advocate. And today I'm sharing a little bit from a book written by Meredith Carter, who is also an ADHD coach. And ADHD coach isn't exactly my title, but I do work with a lot of people with ADHD. The reason that I chose to pursue skills coaching specifically is because of my time and work in victim services. So I spent the last 7.5 years or so working with victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. I worked with a lot of people with learning disabilities and a variety of mental and physical disabilities that limited them and often were the reason that they felt stuck in abusive situations. So part of what I do is create free resources and do awareness activities or join groups and talk about different things because nobody deserves to experience domestic violence or sexual assault. It is so much more than physical abuse. So if you are being taken advantage of, controlled, manipulated, gaslit, if people are calling you names constantly, if they're doing things to break down your character and make you not feel safe expressing yourself in any way, that could be a sign of abuse. So if you are experiencing domestic violence or sexual assault, I also want to let you know that there are a lot of free resources. So on my website, on the contact page, I've linked a couple of those free resources, but you can also call the National Sexual Assault Hotline that I'll link below, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which I will also link below. The National Suicide Hotline is 988, and when you contact them, you can also do so via text. A lot of hotlines also offer online chat functions now. There's even a teen line for suicide support with availability within the United States. So if you need help, start talking to somebody. If you don't have the money, that is okay. Call the free resources, keep calling, be annoying. There is nothing to lose. You need support, so you should ask for it. And if you get someone crappy on the phone, if you get someone who's not helpful, hang up on them. Call back another time or reach out to another agency, but keep trying and explain the reason that you're facing issues with communication so that they're aware you might have difficulty answering questions and, maybe even bringing in a support person to help communicate what you've been through is an option. I just want people to get safe. I want people to have happy relationships. I want people to enjoy motherhood. So I had to talk about that spiel. It's impossible for me not to dive into some of that. So thank you for being patient with me. Today, it all makes sense now. Understanding ADHD is absolutely a process. Some people do find help through therapy or traditional medical offices, but a large percentage of women that I'm talking with find more help from working with a coach or peer groups in some way. That might not be a formal group, but connecting with other women who struggle in the same ways and exchanging techniques, what works and doesn't, is very helpful, as well as exploring the online free resources that are out there. So I'm just going to jump around a little bit. I would recommend you purchase this book, but part of understanding the value of ADHD books is understanding that they're written by people with ADHD. That's also the reason that ADHD coaching is such an incredible field, because it's peer-based. It's people with it who understand it. As a skills coach, I have autism and ADHD. I've coped with those things for most of my life without a diagnosis. And so my life experience kind of supplements my work with trauma victims. And I've done a lot of studies specific to ADHD and autism in women. But I am by no means capable or interested in diagnosing people or offering therapy. What I do is a little bit more of a short-term support, help people understand some skills that might be able to help them be more independent, manage some daily tasks, and take care of themselves better. Some of my other videos you'll look back, see I talk about trouble showering or brushing my teeth. It's the most simple things that feel impossible. So with ADHD books, you can jump around. You do not have to read the entire thing full front cover to cover. A lot of them have sections or the titles written out very clearly so that you're able to decide where you want to start or maybe what you're struggling with, because you might only have 10 minutes, 5 minutes of reading energy that day. So pick your chapter. If we look to page 11, which is pretty close on, she starts offering some exercises within this book. This one is called Cultivate a Focus-Friendly Environment. So my optimal focus environment is going to include 4 categories: sound, scenery, tactile, and other. So she creates a little chart for you. This is also why it's worth investing in a book. I think this probably costs $10 or less, and it comes with a lot of free activities. So when you see all these downloads online, yeah, but sometimes it's nice to have it on paper in front of you, and you can scribble like I did and make notes about what matters to you. I do recommend having pens handy, like yellow or orange, for writing, underlining stuff that's important, or writing notes about how you resonate. I also have clients that will take books like this to their doctor's office when they have an assessment, in order to help them stay focused, articulate, and find the words to express where they're struggling. This is one of my favorites. It talks about embracing doodling, because we got to be creative, and there's no problem adding a little something extra. You're not too much. So I'm going to read this, page 20. It says, embrace doodling. I know it's confusing to be told to doodle, especially if you were penalized in class for it as a child. I was. But I'm here to tell you that research shows that doodling can actually help focus, retain information, and ease internal hyperactivity. In a 2009 study that showed that participants allowed to doodle during a monotonous phone call recalled 29% more information than a control group. If drawing isn't your thing, the same might be true from taking notes or other fidget-related activities, in my opinion. Now, she's talking about doodling specifically, but this is creativity. Sometimes we have to move our body for our mind to focus. Sometimes body doubling, somebody else there, helps us draw into the moment and focus. Sometimes, like for me, I just listen to a video or music, and having a secondary audio source in the room helps me stay present on the task I'm in, and I'm not hearing the squirrels jump on the roof, or the sound of trees moving in the wind, or seeing the mailman, or my cats moving around. I need noise close to me to focus on, and that helps me get in the zone. But I also think I benefit from creativity, from being able to write or doodle or note along whatever I'm learning to help my brain process and encode it. This is also how I got through college. Through lectures, would do a combination. A lot of times I would handwrite notes in some lectures if they were slow enough, but some were too fast. So say my history lecture was 3 hours in the evening. It was a class of 300 people. And so I had my laptop open as the professor talked. I typed up the most detailed notes in the world. I Googled every photo that he pulled in his PowerPoint, included them in my notes, and made, probably 50-page study guides with highlighted notes on what the key points were that aligned later perfectly to the tests. And I sold those. So if you're a killer note taker, monetize off of that. People need help with organization, but also making all of those notes for other people helped me learn. Writing physically and typing, I would write things down more than once. I would always type it, and I would handwrite it, whichever way. It was organized for other people, and it was written multiple times by me. That helped me learn it. That helped me retain it. That helped me excel in my classes. Now, I studied things in my special interests, so if you're lucky, that makes it easier. If you have things that are not your interest, I don't know if that'll work for you, but I can hyper-focus my ass off. All right. Managing hyperactivity can come with a menu. On social media, you might hear people talk about a dopamine menu, things to do like on days you're feeling low, or like a range of activities you can do depending on how you feel each day to feel motivated. But I think this is probably more practical for most people. It's called a hyperactivity menu. And what we have within the hyperactivity management menu is 4 categories. The first is ways to start my day with movement. For me, I like to stretch. I don't like do a big exercise or follow anything. I just stretch, and I try to play music, because then I'm not on my phone, not looking at anything, but it just kind of helps me move. I like music with my stretching. Ways to move throughout the day. An example might be taking a walk on a lunch break. Other ways to move throughout the day might even be, stepping out from wherever you are and going to a grocery store or a mall, if you need to get inside somewhere to walk, if it's freezing outside. Obviously, there's a lot of free trails that are really nice. You can even search or Google in the US paved trails, stroller friendly, and they're more likely to have paved paths. And that's really nice whether you have a stroller or not. If you need an easy walk, looking for paved trails. Ways to maintain my concentration during meetings. Now, this is going to depend on where you work, what people are actually willing to accommodate, and you should always, always, always get your accommodations in writing and signed by your boss and the date that they were willing to accept that, or they could write you up for it later. This one provides an example like knitting during Zoom meetings, that somebody was permitted to, they're better focused in meetings if they're moving their hands, and so they're allowed to knit. I know some people that would get fired for doing that. So be cautious in what your activities are. Of course, I don't have them with me, but fidget rings and little devices are nice to have. Some people just even have, I have baby skeletons, just little things that they can hold and just flip around in their hands, just because it is the movement that helps you focus. So figure out what works, or visit my website, savslifeskills.com, and under the comfort tab, I think it's there, there's a full menu of fidgets if you just want to see what the heck are people doing. You can see a full variety there. And then lastly, ways to transition out of my day. This is often for people who are going to be working, but I think it could be for anybody. You might have a plan to verbally process with your partner. You may or may not have a partner that wants to verbally process your day with you. So I'm going to speak to the masses of people that probably don't have that. If you don't have a partner to debrief with you, I've talked with people who really enjoy using the notes on their phone and typing things out, or using the voice option to type to text, kind of like a journal. I also know people who prefer more of a straight audio journal, and they use their audio notes to process where they're at, what they're thinking. As a victim advocate, I actually did this earlier on in my career. If I had a really difficult case, really severe trauma, was exposed to the full depths of violence, attempted homicide, whatever, I saw it. When I came home, if I was in a state of, I'm going to say high-end arousal in the sense of my body was not relaxed, my muscles were tense, I wasn't able to slow down my thinking, even though there was nothing to do, I took an audio note. Not about that client, not disclosing or breaking any confidentiality, but processing my day and what I just did. Because as autistics or people with ADHD, you might struggle with working memory like me. And if you do, that means you're probably not taking credit for your wins or your successes, and you're probably focusing on some of the most difficult, awful things that you've heard about yourself or helped other people through. You're more likely to deal with rumination. So having a hyperactivity menu that's realistic, again, that's ways to move whenever I start my day, ways to move throughout my day, ways to maintain concentration in meetings, or a conversation or statement to your boss, whoever pays you, to say, my attention might look different than others. I might look in different directions. I might be looking down at odd times. I am fully focused. If you have any questions, please contact me separately. But I just want you to know my attention might look different. I have ADHD. As somebody who was in management, I provided accommodations to people and never asked for their medical record. Some places might ask for proof of your record, but honestly, if you need an accommodation and it'll make you perform better, say that. I have light sensitivity, I have sound sensitivity, I experience emotional dysregulation, and these tools will make me perform at my job that you hired me for to the best of my ability. Please provide this a reasonable accommodation. It will not cost you a thing, because most accommodations don't actually cost employers. It would be cool if employers invested in accommodating spaces, but they don't always do that. So it all makes sense now. If you're not encouraged yet, please go buy this book. You can find the link on my website, but I really encourage you to read. Read from people that have ADHD, or if you have autism, read from autistic authors. Look up creators and poets that have ADHD or autism, and you will find so much validation. There is so much validation in community. So get connected, find what works, and have a wonderful day. Again, this was Savannah, or Sav, skills coach and mental health advocate. Bye-bye.